This podcast is powered by The Plug. The Connect with graffiti.
I'm back. Got another one for y'all. Long time in the making, bro.
For sure.
We've been following you. We go back some years, and just you're a real pillar and staple in the community, man. I always felt like your story is one of them ones that not only needs to be told but highlighted.
Yeah.
But we also need to highlight you're right now. You know what I mean? And a lot of people see people. They might know them for one thing and not be too familiar with, how they progressed.
Exactly.
In case y'all don't know, man, it's Xavier Davis. I know him as Boozilla. Xavier in the building, man. OG, how you feeling?
For sure, I'm good, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nice to finally be on your platform.
Appreciate it. How's your mental, bro?
My mental, man, to be honest, man, I just been going through a healing process. Most of my whole life, I just thought one way. I was on a one-way street, track up mind frame, and I just like everybody, man. I just been going through a healing, getting my mind right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of beating myself up for a lot of the things that I did back in the past, but that's how it is. I felt if God kept me alive this long,
Yeah.
I have nothing else to do but some good. So, trying to make up for a lot of the mistakes that I made.
Absolutely.
Give back to the community that I took from for most of my life, and just trying to do better for these kids.
That's real. That's real. That's honest. Man, so for the people out there listening who may not know who you are, just quick summary of who Xavier Davis is.
I'm Xavier Davis. People call me Boozilla, Zabu. I got like 10 nicknames, but those are the main two. Born in Mississippi, moved to Colorado like 89. Well, I lived in Colorado before. I went to McGlone, went back to Mississippi, came back like 89. Came out here like a little Tasmanian, just messing up, you know what I'm saying? But I got my GED, Emily Griffith. Ran the streets, started doing the music thing. Got pretty good with the music, more so based off of the lifestyle that I was living. So I was glorifying the lifestyle that I was living, which is something I'm not proud of, but And then leading up, I spent some time in the feds. Had to go sit down for like 12 years, got out. Kind of got back on the, you would think normally when somebody goes to prison that long that it would like kind of fix them and heal them, but a lot of dudes get out of jail more damaged than they were when they went in, and I was one of them. You couldn't tell me that at the time, but now looking back, with the mind frame that I had when I got out, I was like really damaged, and I needed to do a lot more healing. So I've been out like a little bit over 10 years now, and just really now just getting it together. Dealing with a lot of trauma growing up. You see things one way, and you don't really realize it until you accept the fact that you probably need therapy. You probably need to heal. You probably need to take accountability for a lot of the things that you did, because for some reason people don't like taking accountability, and I was one of those people.
Yeah. And
when I really sat down and said, man, you need to have accountability for a lot of the things that you did, that's when I really started to heal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Forgive myself, ask some people to forgive me for some of the ways that I had, and just to the present where I'm at right now. I'm just giving, volunteering as much as I can, helping these kids out, going to court, going to juvenile facilities, to schools, working with them on the streets.
Yeah.
Everything that we can do, everything that I can do pretty much to give back to my community.
Perfect, man. So let's rewind. Let's just talk about, kind of your foundation and your upbringing coming up, where you came up, during that time, specifically around the 90s, early 2000s, kind of just that Wild West time period. Montbello, man.
You see it.
Yeah, I know. I'm from the same area, so
Ain't no question.
Yeah, so I know that time period. I was super youngster, but just growing up in that environment affected a lot of us in so many different ways. So let's just talk about that.
The drugs, the guns, the violence. Just a lot of lost souls out there. We was all lost. We thought selling drugs and being popular from that, and having people fear us in a certain way, robberies and a lot of things, we thought that was the cool thing to do. We got off on the power and the fame that we got from hurting our community, and we didn't see it that way. Flooding our communities with poison, the crack era. We thought that was cool, and there was so many of us doing it, and I just look back at me and all the homies that, a lot of them that died, a lot of them went to prison for life, and some that's still here. And by the hundreds, and I'm talking just in Montbello and Denver alone, we was lost, bro. And it's sad to think how lost we were, because all we knew was to do bad. you know, and we were in our 20s, a lot of us. And it was just, looking back at it, it's just hard to believe that we were that lost. But if you look at America now, the kids nowadays, they're even more lost,
Yeah.
you know. And we didn't have social media.
Right.
So that's why I don't judge the youngsters nowadays, because had we had social media in the 90s, you would have seen a different side of a lot of us that's in our 40s and 50s now.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really judge the youngsters. Like social media is a lot, but like I say, in the 90s, we didn't have it. So you didn't get to see a lot of the things that we were doing.
Right.
You know, back a lot of the mistakes that we were making, I would say.
Yeah, it wasn't showcased like that.
Right, it wasn't showcased like that. So it's like a lot of us are hiding behind the fact that we didn't get exposed by social media. A lot of people are, and it's just not fair to the youngsters. That's why I work with them. I don't judge them. I don't come down hard on them, because a lot of the mistakes that they're making are based off of what they're seeing on social media.
Yeah.
Their whole generation is being exposed and highlighted by social media. Like, social media is it's an issue.
Right.
It could be a positive thing, but it can be a major issue as well. So as far as my upbringing in the 90s and in Montbello and what we were doing, like I say, man, I can go deep into a lot of things, but I can just sum it all and put it up under one umbrella. We was lost, bro.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. We was lost. And when you lost, you're going to do a lot of damage, especially if you lost and you got some money.
Absolutely.
That's like the worst lost person ever. You got money, access to a couple $100,000, and you're a lost individual.
Yeah.
You're gonna damage everything around you.
That's real.
Until you find yourself, and I was that person. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
You know, so I apologize to my community. I apologize for everything that I did. You know, I was a lost soul, even leading into my 30s. Like, I had to figure out what was wrong with me, and it was just a lot of trauma. You know, a lot of damage that I had from as a child, seeing a lot of things that I seen. You know what I'm saying? Just my mother. My mother was a hustler. She brought me in the game. You know what I'm saying? My mom was lost. She had to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I was her baby. I was around all the drug dealers and the pimps when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. So this is what I saw, and that's what I became.
Right. That's interesting, man. So I think that comes with a level of maturity, but also as a culture and in society, what I'm seeing right now is a lot of that being put on the forefront with that growth and checking in with yourself and addressing the fact that we do have trauma and that we never really understood that maybe I should get, maybe I should get some help, or maybe I should get that looked at, because you say, like, your mom came from the game, or like everybody around me was this way, or, I'm coming from Montbello. The Dope Boys is the all-stars to me. And now we're at a point where we got people like you, like, yeah, I admit I fucked up.
Yeah, I fucked up bad.
Yeah, and I think that's very important, man. But I do want to rewind. You said something about the social media and just being highlighted. I know back then, I think the music is what put, the dope boy lifestyle in front of somebody like me, that I seen it in that area, but I ain't know for real. But then you turn on this rap song, and this got to be cool because my favorite rapper said it is.
Right.
And so let's just talk about that, man, the music side of the hustle.
The music side of it to me was, the music game for me was, I was really out there selling drugs, doing a lot of stuff in the streets. Everything that I rapped about, I was actually doing. And that's what, I wasn't a good rapper. I wasn't like the best rapper. My music was cool. I made some cool beats. Yeah. But the fact that people knew that everything that I was talking about was true, that made it more exciting for people to listen to, especially people that knew me. Some of the lingo that I used, that was like dope boy lingo, so people would be like, okay, yeah, he probably one of those ones that's really doing that, And we all, we was big, E40 fans. A lot of. We had a big West Coast influence out here, and we were highly influenced by the West Coast. But then we kind of got our own sound, which we called the mob sound. And once we started getting our own identity, and you couldn't tell us shit. We started growing. But the thing about it is, everybody pretty much around me musically was rapping about the same shit.
Yeah.
Some of us was actually doing it, some wasn't. But nonetheless, everybody had the same message, which was damaging. So like the generation that we have now, we're responsible for that musically. Whether the big record companies were exploiting it then, the same way they're doing it now, we all had a choice to do it or not to do it. But you look at us, especially in the 20s, everybody's chasing that bag. Yeah. So you can't tell a person that's chasing that bag nothing. Yeah. Their vision is set on that bag, and whoever they hurt in the path of getting that, they're gonna go get it. And it's pretty much the same as selling your soul to the streets. That's what we did. So the message was bad and the actions were bad. So it was just, man, it was just bad all around.
It was just bad all around.
I mean, we had money. It was nice to have money, and I tried to be a good father. I felt, I'm raising my daughter. I'm helping my mom. I'm helping my family. I felt that the good that I was doing covered up for the bad.
Yeah, balance it out.
But that ain't how that shit work. That ain't how it work. And a lot of dudes think that way, like, oh, I give back, I do this, I do that. But then they bad in real life. It's just like, you can't be like that.
Right.
And I didn't notice it about myself. I had to really heal, bro. It's hard.
Yeah.
It got to a point I didn't want to be here no more, bro.
Yeah.
I just said if I'm gonna be here, I'm at least I'm gonna do right. I'm gonna try to do right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still working on myself. I still make errors. I have my flaws, but I'm working on me. You know. But as far as that music, man, I don't even like thinking about that era because it's just where I'm at now. I hear my music that I made back then. I be like, man, cut that shit off.
Yeah.
That shit is gross, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't even be wanting to hear, like in my studio now, dudes come in there rapping about that. I be like, hey, bro, I really ain't on that.
Yeah.
Like my studio right now, I don't really have that much business at my studio because I don't allow a certain sound in it no more.
Because of that reason.
And when the dudes that do come in, and I know, so I don't turn everybody away. A lot of the dudes that do come in, I be like, okay, look, if you're gonna rap about this street stuff, I'm not gonna stop you, but why don't you give me one about something positive?
Yeah.
And let's be an artist. Don't just be a rapper. Be an artist. And I tell them all that. And most of the young dudes, they be like, okay, yeah, I do that. So they'll do their street stuff, and I say, well, just give me like a Dear Mama type song or something about police brutality or something about the struggle. Go do a little research on this person. Give something back that's positive. And the crazy thing about it is a lot of the guys that I have do that, when they go make that different type of song, they come back like, man, I like what I did on that shit,
Yeah,
bro.
because it's a healing for them because they don't realize that's coming from a source of realness. So like you were saying back in the day, you make these songs because you're actually doing it. And I think, like, even for me right now, bro, like, as big as a hip-hop head that I am, I can't listen to a lot of rap music anymore because, as a father and just as a member of the community and a youth mentor, it's toxic, man. And it literally feels toxic on my ears, just certain production, the 808s and the energy it gives off. It don't sit right with my soul. And I think it starts with having that conversation like, yo, like you said, I'm not even on that. So, we're not even allowing this to be produced in my environment, or with the DJ saying, yo, man, like, this energy is it's a plague over what we're trying to do when we're trying to bring the city together and have fun.
Yep.
I think step by step, if we all take that approach, like, we're not even, the people that's producing that music will realize, like, damn, I can't get on the radio because I'm talking crazy. Let me dial that back. And it's kind of reversing that mentality,
Yeah, but when you have somebody that's after that bag, they ain't trying to hear none of that.
They ain't trying to hear none of that.
Like, I just lost a big opportunity working with an artist, and it was hard. And I ain't rich. I need some money, but it's just I wasn't with the message that this dude was portraying, and I just like, man, you know what? I can't do both. I can't be an advocate over here with these kids and then helping you push this poison in the hood that's killing the kids that I'm working with. Like, I've been to morgues. I was just at the hospital the other day with 2 gunshot victims. I got kids as young as 9 years old, bro, coming into the system with attempted murders, murder cases. Like, when I go to these juvenile facilities, I'm seeing it, and it's really hitting me now.
Right.
Like, when I went to the hospital the other day and I seen these kids with these gunshot wounds and some fighting for their life, it fucked me up, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm seeing too much real shit to be a part of that movement anymore. I can't, because kids are actually dying.
Right.
Like, for me, I ain't gonna lie, when I'm in the gym, I'll listen to some of the gangster stuff that I grew up on because I know where I'm at. I can do it. It motivates me to work out.
It's the energy, yeah.
As soon as I walk out of that gym, I don't listen to none of that.
Yeah.
And I'm in the gym by myself. So I know it's not gonna affect me either. It's not gonna make me want to go jump in my car and do something to some of my people.
Right.
I can do that. So, but yeah, that music, if it wasn't for me working with these kids, I would have shut my studio down probably 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
I keep the studio because it's therapeutic for the kids. I would say 75% of the at-risk youth that I work with, they all love music in some form or fashion, whether it's rapping, making beats, they want to learn about the business, or something tied to fashion or film, video, something in that area. So I kept all of the things, my crafts and my hobbies that I love to do for these kids. So, and I'm actually turning my studio into like a free community type studio.
That's dope, man.
You can donate. I mean, you can tip, because I have young engineers too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let people. You can tip the engineers if you want to, but it's gonna be a free community type studio and in my gym.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's
that's
dope.
what I'm on, bro.
That's dope, man. So let's talk about the kids a little bit. So just how you kind of, well, I get, throughout this journey, how you transitioned into helping these kids out. But I can speak to it myself, man. Seeing this generation, bro, is tough because there is a lack of guidance. There's a lack of OGs, or the OGs are still kind of in their own way in certain aspects. We all healing, but you in your own way. And I'm seeing something I've never seen before with these kids, where it's just they legit don't care. It's just a lack of care, a lack of concern of themselves and other human beings, and it's really hard to navigate around that. So somebody like you that deals with that on a daily and talk to these kids, just what are some of the biggest things you're seeing that they dealing with, and some things that we can kind of help them out with, man?
I'll just speak on like one juvenile facility in particular that I go to, and I always have to speak up for my people, because I'm seeing we're the most damaged. One of the facilities that I go to, it's probably 75% black kids in there. And out of those 75 black kids, I would say 90% of those black kids are in there. They have a single parent home. They're being raised by their mother.
Right.
And I'll just cut to the chase. The daddies ain't around. And that's one of the most damaging things that's happening to our community right now. All the women that are being forced to grow up, being forced to raise their kids as single mothers. I tip my hat off to single mothers, man. That's, I'm guilty of that too. I went through that too, and I'll get into that later. But as far as in the facilities, like I say, you can tell that the father's presence wasn't there with these kids. So when I'm talking to them and I'm just learning certain things about them, I can tell, your daddy wasn't around at all.
Yeah. And
some of the things that I say to them, they look up to me like a big brother, almost damn near like a dad sometimes. Because I come from where they come from, and I've turned my life around, and that works in my favor when I'm working with these kids. But I would say all of them, 95% of them, are affected by social media in some type of way, like we were saying earlier. And it's just, I would just say the main thing I'm seeing is the absence of the father.
Okay.
Because I always ask them when I meet a new kid, when I get a new kid on my caseload, I ask them about their father and their mother first off the top, because I want to understand their parent situation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their parents are younger than me. A lot of their parents have trauma that came from trauma, generations of it. So to understand them, I need to understand the parents. And when I meet the parents, I ask the parents about their parents. It's came to points where I've met a kid in 3 generations, and I've met his mom, and the mom knew about the history of her family. And her three of her generations were all single moms. So this goes back, you would say, to the 60s and the 70s.
Right.
Yeah, so where the black man started being absent in the home, and we just started making babies, some of us started making babies and not being there for the mother, it's the most damaging thing that's happened to us, and it's been going on for the past 50 years.
Yeah. And of course, there's other factors. It's systemic. It's a lot that goes into it, but that is one of the driving factors, man. I always say, growing up, I can't really think back to any of my homeboys having a dad. Man. Like, that just sounded so crazy back then. Like, bro, you got a dad live with your mom?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got uncles, we got cousins, we got the big homies, but he's like, bro, your dad lives here? This is weird.
Yeah, just a kid saying, hey, man, I got to go home. My mom and dad tripping. And she was like, hey, man, I got to go home. My mom tripping.
My mom, my grandma, something like that. Yeah.
And then, like, I was there for my daughter before I went to prison. But the thing is, I was living the wrong type of life, so prison took me away from my daughter. It's the same situation. I should have been making better choices, and I would have been there for my daughter. Right. So it works. It works in so many different ways. A lot of kids don't have a dad because their dad got murdered in these streets or died, some other kind of way. But whatever the way, something that can be prevented. Things that can be prevented are not being prevented, and we see what it is. We see now. That's why I started this organization called Under Our Watch. And we can get into that later too.
We can get into it now.
So Under Our Watch is something that it's an organization that we started. It's really black men coming together to get our community back in order. So and I'll just say this, and a lot of people heard me say this speech before. When it comes to all races, especially men, we're all considered as kings. You have your white kings, your Asian kings, your Mexican kings, your Italian kings. Every race, when it comes to their men, they're all considered kings. When it comes to the black king, we're the laughing stock of all kings. Like they look at us and they laugh at us as kings because of the way we allow our neighborhoods to get gentrified, our economic state, how we allow our kids out here dying, killing each other,
Right.
how we treat our women. There's so many flaws that we have as black men that when it comes to the king, if we're all sitting at a round table full of kings, they laughing at the black king.
Right.
And for me personally, I don't like motherfuckers laughing at me. I take it personal. So if me and you sitting there, we're representing kings of a village, and they laughing at us, the first thing we should want to do is, hey, bro, let's team. We got to stop this.
You're right. Right.
They
right.
laughing at us, bro.
Right.
So let's fix our backyard.
Right.
And this is just us as black folks talking. That's what Under Our Watch is about. And pretty much how we started off, we kicked it off. We got 10 powerful black organizations that's coming together. And a lot of these organizations have never done business with each other. They don't even know each other. This is just the ones that's on our flyer. We'll probably have another 40, 50 black organizations in there that they don't even know each other.
Yeah.
But we all can come together and form one umbrella, or each organization connect. And every organization probably has another 100 to 200 people that work with them.
Right.
So that's bringing us together in one big ball. And we're going to start from there. And we're doing these events every week. We're going to try to do it every week. Bi-weekly for sure, because we're having a couple issues with getting venues.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a couple venues set, and when some of the people saw that we were trying to do, they did some slick stuff and blackballed us out already. We ain't even had a first event and been getting blackballed because I don't know what it is about black unity.
It's powerful.
It scares some people.
It's powerful.
And all we want is peace within our community, peace in our neighborhoods. We want our kids to stop killing each other. We want to see our economic state change. We want to change these single mother parent homes to two-parent homes. That's all we want. And that scares people. I don't know why. And none of us will ever know why, but we just have to look at it as it must be a good thing. So why not? Let's just do it.
Yeah, because they know once that power comes together and once we are all on that one accord, that shifts the foundation of what America is. You know what I mean? And that's the fear. This corporation that is America doesn't work when the black kings in the black community really start to rattle the foundation.
And then just think about when our queens come to do this on the same thing. But as kings, we're supposed to be leaders.
Right.
The queen's gonna follow us. The real queen's gonna follow us. You're gonna have my thing is, and I always say this to my people, we always gonna be up against the bag.
Yeah.
The dollar. You gonna have people in our people that's gonna say, man, I ain't with that. I'm trying to get mines. I'm trying to chase y'all. I pray for y'all. I hope y'all do good, or not.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have people that's just after the bag and they not concerned about what's going on with their people. My thing is when we came over here from Africa, we all was on the same shit. We all got off together, shackled. We was handcuffed together.
Exactly.
It's 1,000 years later, and we're in the same situation. But believe it or not, we're all still out here in prison, kind of. We have to use that mentality to better ourselves.
Right.
And that's what Under Our Watch is about, man. So it's just bringing everybody together. It's a lot of beefs out here in the street that we know about, people know about, and we're silent about it. Under Our Watch, we ain't going for that. We stepping in between all these beefs, and we getting people to squash it. We done squashed some major beefs out here just recently. Like, it's been some prominent people that hasn't been getting along over bullshit.
Yeah.
Black folks are the most unforgiving people towards each other that any being on this earth.
Man, talk about it.
I owe you $20 from 1989. We won't talk.
Yeah,
and it could be
20.
your cousin.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. That's keeping us divided. All those little things are keeping us divided. You have all these black organizations and these black activists that are beefing with each other. How are we going to move if the activists are beefing?
Yeah.
You know, it's Under Our Watch thing has nothing to do with no religion. We don't care what religion you are.
Yeah.
We are black first.
Right.
We have to deal with that issue. And it's just bringing everybody together. So, like I said, we're going to be doing these events bi-weekly, starting off, and when it gets warm, we're going to start doing them weekly.
Yeah.
We're going to have food there, soul food. We got Randall's coming doing the first for the food. We're going to be giving out certificates. Like, I'll give you an example. We have a chick, I want to call her a chick, a young black woman. She's 19. She just passed her real estate exam last year when she was 18. She's 19 and she's just selling her third house.
That's beautiful.
She's 19 years old.
Yeah.
So we're going to be giving out awards, highlighting individuals like that. We got a couple other people that we're going to be giving out awards to, just to showcase that for our people so they can see, yeah, we actually have youngsters and people are here doing things like this.
Yeah.
Let's support them. Let our kids see this.
Highlight that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what Under Our Watch is about, man. We just trying to bring everybody together, squash these beefs, you know. And one thing about the black community, healing the black community doesn't start with the black community. It starts in the black home.
Yeah.
Even more so, it starts with self. I wouldn't even jump out here and try to do none of this if I can't get myself right.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And we all have to realize, man, it starts with self. So if you out there watching and you know you got some stuff with yourself, man, just recognize it and just work on you and just try to let it go.
That's key.
And if you don't want to do that, you know, they got things out here for you that's gonna make you wish you did do it. You know. And I had to learn. I just the fact that I'm sitting here with you, bro, having this doing this interview. I'm 52. I'll be 53 years old this year. The fact that I'm sitting here alive, bro, I don't believe it. Some days I wake up like, this ain't real. I ain't supposed to be here. I'm still here. So I got
here for a reason.
I must be here for a reason.
Gotta be here for a reason.
And it can't be for the same bullshit that I was doing for the last 40 years of my life. It can't be that. So that's where I'm at with it, you know. And I volunteer probably 6 to 8 hours of my day this is every day.
Yeah.
You know, until I spend the time with my own kids. But Monday through Friday, I'm volunteering 6 to 8 hours a day.
Man, and it's dope to see you in particular doing everything you're doing because you do have such a strong and influential presence just in the community, and that street presence is powerful, man. You said something about being able to squash beefs. It's whether people know it or not, man. It is not just like on the street shit, but there is a war going on within the community, just within America. You know, subdivisions. There's a war going on, man. And you know, of course, when there's war, you need your soldiers. Your soldiers is your assets and your strongest people in war. And it's crazy to be at war and be out there shooting your fellow soldiers. I never understood that, man. It's like if we're gonna be out here, we're gonna be running the streets. Why are we knocking each other off when we know what the real problem is, man? You said something before I seen on social media. You were saying something along the lines of, you know, it takes the people that were destroying the community or tearing up the community to rebuild it. That's real, man, because nobody's stronger than the ones that's actually killing the community.
Right.
So why are we using that power on each other? I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just a system. A lot of it's systematic, like you say, but a lot of it's just we have a hate for our own people. That's just, I mean, where it comes from. I mean, so we had a meeting, and we had an event a couple months ago, an Under Our Watch event. It was real small, but we had this African guy there, and he stood up, and because I was saying a lot of things that I'm saying to you, and he was like, "Hey, brother, don't blame yourself because we were like this in Africa. We fought each other in Africa. We enslaved each other in Africa. Everything that y'all doing over here in America, we were doing it in Africa before the first the Pan American slave trade started.
Right.
And a lot of the slaves were on that ship was because of people like this in Africa. They were selling out. It was going on in Africa. So he said, don't beat yourselves up. So my thing, I said, you know what, you're right. But I said, when they put us on these ships and they brought us from Africa to America, and we all got off those ships together, we were like aliens here. That's when that curse was supposed to be broken.
Yeah.
So if Africa had that issue in Africa, when we came from Africa to America, we were supposed to break that curse for black people. And we broke it because we were together at first through all the slavery, the lynchings, and you know what we went through.
Yeah.
But as soon as we got a little freedom, our old African ways came back, and we started divided. But the thing about us dividing in America, we couldn't afford to divide in America because it really wasn't that many of us.
Yeah.
In Africa, there's way more people, black, than there was in America. So we couldn't afford to do that. So if you figure we've been divided for that long up until now, we're lucky to still even be extinct.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to us. If they had that issue in Africa, it was up to us, African Americans, or however you want to call it, to break that curse. And as far as Under Our Watch goes, that's what we're on. Like, we want to break that curse. We came up with a new format to bring our community together, a new format for peace. And it's just simple as attacking issues as soon as we see them, not letting them become cancers. Yeah. We have a lot of cancers in our community that's just keeping us separated. Everything that's going on that's bad, the worst thing that's happening is it's keeping us separated. All we got to do is just recognize what's keeping us separated, deal with it, whatever it is, however we got to deal with it, so we can come together.
Yeah.
And once we do that, once we really do that, it's gonna be a problem. And I say this about Denver and Aurora. If you go out of town and you ask somebody, what do you know about Denver that's black? They're gonna be like, Chauncey Billups. I know he played for the Nuggets.
yeah.
Jamal Murray. They just won a championship last year. Black. Don
Right.
Cheadle from there. They gonna have a hard time thinking about something that's black from Denver. But what we will be recognized for and what we plan on being recognized for is this movement.
Yeah.
We're gonna create a format out of Denver and Aurora, a new format to bring communities together.
Yeah.
And it includes all the ones that help tear it up. Connecting with corporate Black America, connecting with Black college students, connect everybody, because we all Black at the end of the day. And we Black and we broke off in classes. Black, we can't afford that. We can't afford to
We
be
gotta
broke.
just
We can't
be
be
Black
afford to
together.
broke off in these American classes people. Black folk, we can't afford that. The other races can do that. More power to them. We cannot afford to be broken off in classes.
Yeah.
We got to be able to sit in one room. This dude may have 10 felonies. This dude may have went to college. This dude may be a doctor. This dude may be a billionaire. It may be a homeless dude over here in the corner that's Black. But we can't afford to be categorize each other.
Agreed.
We all really have to come together. And the thing about it is, just think about it. It would be a beautiful thing, bro.
I mean, and it's
beautiful.
Yeah, man. You said it. We're gonna have to circle back. I'm gonna definitely be there. You said under our watch.
Under our watch, February 3rd.
This is
3
an
to 6.
ongoing conversation, so it's gonna grow and it's gonna
Tap
evolve.
back into
man.
it for sure.
Absolutely. So where I want to leave it off at is, if you could go back and just talk to a young Boozilla, just active in your heyday of that time, what's that one piece of advice that Xavier Davis today would give that young Boozilla?
I would just say, man, don't be afraid to do right. Don't be afraid to be the square guy. You know, learn. There's so much I would say. I couldn't say it in one word. Learn your history. Learn your history. I study all history, because one thing I learned about all the history that I've been studying, all races of history, everything traces back to Africa.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting up here stunting either. People used to tell me this, but when I started studying history, the history of all different people, it all traced back to Africa.
It's literally the motherland.
I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I am not lying. When I sit and study and I go, and I spend hours on this, I can start off in Israel, wherever, Russia, I don't care where. I end up in Africa.
Yeah.
When I get all the way back. So as a young Boozilla, just believe in yourself, know your history. Don't be afraid to do the right thing. And all that comes with just believing in yourself and knowing who you are. So I would just say, man, know who you are. Know who you are. That would top it off. Know who you really are.
Like that, man. I like that. Again, like I said, this is an involving conversation. I'm gonna be in the building under our watch. It's necessary. My guy, man, I appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Let me come on the platform. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Let's connect. Graffiti.
Yep.